A beautiful morning to you. You're welcome to Sports Talk on your dial, which your favorite 99, beg your pardon, Atlantic Television Network. And of course, we have a lot for you and a lot, of course, to take a look at. Yesterday, we saw Monday night football and as well other interesting features across Europe. But on the local scene, national games gets new dates, and coming in from the beautiful world of tennis, Arina Sabalenka achieved first title since Australian Open. And of course, we're going to report that the Nigerian Football Federation is set to appoint a local coach on interim basis for the Super Eagles job. This and many more will be yours after this short timeout. Welcome back to Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and joining me on today's edition of the show is Miracle Onyekazi. Good morning to you, Miracle, and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Talk.
Yeah, good morning, Kinsley. It's always nice to be here to talk sports.
All right, let's take a look at the situation of things as it concerns marathon in the country. We hear that organizers of the maiden edition of Ajegule City Youth Marathon have fixed November 30th for the 10-kilometer race allowed to be part of the race. The marathon is scheduled to begin at the Maracana Stadium and terminate at the sport ground of Nigerian Army Signal Barracks. Coordinator of the National Youth Council of Nigeria in Ajurumi, Ifodun local government area of Lagos State, Isaac Omoleye, explained that the marathon with the team creating a peaceful, eco-friendly environment for an expanded youth engagement through sport is aimed at showcasing the vibrant culture, unity and creativity of the youth of the area, as well as promoting fitness, good health, talent identification and empowerment of youth through sport. According to the organizers, the Lagos State Sports Commission will provide technical oversight, while the military, police, Federal Road Safety Commission and other paramilitary organization will provide security on the race day. What do you make of this one, Miracle? Another marathon, of course, in the country. What do you make of this, based on what the organizers, of course, they put up so far?
Yeah, I feel it's a good one. It's a good one from the organizers. We know that this marathon race is being one of what have been keeping athletes running in Nigeria over the time. And we've seen a lot of marathon over the years, especially when it comes to those long distance or country races that we see these athletes participating, and it's a good one, especially the kind of huge prize and money that the organizers have put to this one. 20 million naira is not an easy or is not an easy money just to put in a sport that we know that few participants always enroll in this kind of races. So I feel like it's a good one from the organizers, it's a good one from the body, actually boost their confidence and their morale in enrolling for this kind of sports.
Interesting. But one thing very striking, Miracle, is the fact that we've seen marathon races, over time. We could mention the Lagos City Marathon. You could also mention the Okpekpe Marathon as well.
Yeah.
Recently, I think we had the Port Harcourt City Marathon as well. We've seen marathon every time, in the country, but at the end of the day, we seem not to have long distance runners. They probably, participating in some of the games, probably let's say in the Olympics or maybe even some recognized long distance races in the world. I don't know what you make of it. We've also seen Kenya, we've also seen Ethiopians, Uganda, dominating when it has to do with long distance races. So why is it that we have some of these marathon races in the country and then we're still unable to produce long distance runners?
Yeah, for me, I think it's based on preparations. Because these long distance runners, you can't just start enrolling or participating in these sports at an old age. So I feel like the youthful age is the main time that these athletes should be catch and should be taught on how to participate, on how to train harder for these kind of events. Because sometimes a lack of planning can actually cause us not to be able to qualify or to be able for these athletes to make it through to the big stages like the Olympics, like the Diamond Leagues and so. So I feel like these marathon races that have been going on in the country also need sponsors, the likes of individual sponsors, because sometimes the government alone cannot handle events like this on their own. They need sponsors that will actually catch these athletes young from a youthful age, build them up and train them and keep them enhanced for maybe 4 years earlier or 6 years earlier than these Olympic games. We know the Olympics come every 4 years, so maybe we train them 6 years earlier for these Olympic games, so they can be able to participate from the qualifiers, pre-qualifiers, then maybe make it through to the main events. So I feel like if this kind of things are being done, maybe we see our athletes going far and competing at the higher stages.
All right, so let's say it goes. We hope that Team Nigeria will also focus on long distance races. We've been taking a look at comparative advantage when it has to do with sports. I understand what happened at the just concluded Paris Olympic Games, where athletes, of course, despite their impressive performance, couldn't get a medal back home. Was really, of course, not a very good one. So many Nigerians were not happy after spending about 9 billion naira, of course, to execute the operation of that particular Olympic Games, and that's why we're looking at it. Could long distance races, of course, be one of the sports we can venture into to see if we can get something from there? Probably maybe going to events and also racking up medals should be the target of Nigeria, because we can't have long distance races in the country. Okpekpe race, Lagos City race, even the Port Harcourt race that just kickstarted, I think, this year as well. Now we're having the Ajegule marathon race as well, and at the end of the day, we do not produce long distance races. Always, even sometimes the Ethiopians come here to compete.
Yeah.
Yes, they come to compete in the Okpekpe race, even the Lagos City. The Kenyans, they come here to compete and they win, they dominate. At the end of the day, they take the huge prize money and go back home. At the end of the day, we'll just be the host, and they come and get the victory and with huge amount of money and go and take it back, of course, to their country. And that's why I think we should also take a look at trying to groom talent when it has to do with long distance races. We can achieve it. It can be a project for, like, let's say 5 years project. Who are those that are ready for this? And then you groom them and see what they can be able to put up down there. But away from that, let's take a look at the National Youth Games, as the 8th edition of the National Youth Games, which had been earlier scheduled to commence on the 10th of September 2024, has been shifted by a day and will now commence on the 9th of September 2024. The Minister for Sport Development, Senator John Owanono, represented by the Director of Grassroots Sport Development in the Ministry, Mr. Patrick Okeke, made the adjustment during the just concluded Joint Technical Committee meeting of the 8th edition of the National Youth Games, which held at the Stephen Keshi International Stadium in Asaba. And also, the date was brought back by 1 day due to gubernatorial elections in Edo State on the 24th of September, which would lead to a total lockdown and restriction of movements. All right, let's stay away from the National Youth Games as we take a look at other matters this morning, and we'll take a look at the UFC at this moment. Israel Adesanya, of course, still in the news, despite losing to Dicros Du Plessis in the thrilling UFC 205 main event, Israel Adesanya reportedly earned more than the reigning champion. According to reports from the sports star, Adesanya, a former two-time middleweight champion, was guaranteed $750,000 for the fight, while Duplessis got $500,000. With additional earnings from the pay-per-view, both fighters are expected to clear seven figures, though Adesanya's share of the revenue is projected to be higher due to his status and past achievements in the sport. So, despite being beaten or defeated by Duplessis, Adesanya went home with a very huge amount of money in his bank accounts. Miracle.
Israel Adesanya, a very disappointing performance from the stylebender, as it's being called. But we know that this kind of money is a huge sum of amounts. For you to earn more than your opponent after the defeat is something that you should be applauded for. I feel like Israel Adesanya and his camp and his crew have done a lot behind the scenes when it comes to management and promoting him as a fighter. And also, let's not forget that he's a two-time middleweight champion in the division. So his previous achievement actually spoke for him. And we know that Israel Adesanya, when it comes to the UFC, in that category, he can be actually, some people can actually say that he's actually the second best in that category in history. So we know that Israel Adesanya is not just anybody. He's a big fighter. He's a well-known fighter. And the promoters love to see that kind of fighters when it comes to fighting in the octagon. They need that kind of big name promoting their sport. So yes, why wouldn't Israel Adesanya earn more than Duplessis? We know that Duplessis, this is just the first time he's a reigning champion currently. This is the first time he's winning the UFC or retaining his belt. He's UFC middleweight champion over time. But Israel Adesanya has been doing it over time. So his record speaks for him. So definitely he's going to earn more than Duplessis.
Of course, an impressive one for Israel Adesanya. Despite being defeated, for 60 took a lot of money back home. The UFC 305 card also saw notable payout for other fighters. In the co-main events, Kyle Carrier France earned $50,000 bonus on top of his $300,000 base pay for his first round knockout of Steve Eric, who pocketed $75,000. Dan Hooker and Matthews Gamrot, who engaged in an exciting lightweight contest, each took home $50,000 bonuses on top of their respective $350,000 and $110,000 base pay check as well. So a lot of money down there, in the UFC. But away from that, Mike Tyson says he is prepared for his bout with Jake Paul on the 15th of November after the fight's original date had been postponed. The pair were due to fight on the 20th of July, but Tyson had an ulcer flare-up that forced the match with the YouTuber to be rescheduled. The fight, which will be held at the 80,000 capacity AT&T Stadium in Texas, is a professional fight with a string of conditions. What do you make of it? Mike Tyson looking forward to get back into the ring against YouTuber this time after a very, very long time. I don't know what you make of it. You think he still has what it takes in him?
Personally, for me, I don't take fights like this serious. Jake Paul is just a YouTuber that ventured into boxing some years back, and Mike Tyson has not been involved in any professional boxing fight for over, will I say, a decade now. Since 2005, I don't think he's been in any professional boxing fight. And the only will I say advantage, or the only thing that Mike Tyson can gain from this fight is the monetary aspect of it. We know that fights like this also come with the cash, and we know in boxing, in combat sports, it's not just a small amount of money that comes with it, but a massive amount of money. Fights like this, Mike Tyson might be gaining over $1 million or even more than that. So I feel like this fight, Mike Tyson, he will just be doing it for the, will I say, for the fans and for maybe his family. Nothing else comes out from fights like this, because Jake Paul himself, he's not, will I say, he's not a huge, he does not have that kind of experience that Mike Tyson has when it comes to boxing on the big scene. So I feel like Mike Tyson might just get this one over Jake Paul.
All right, let's see how it goes. We look forward to see that interesting bout. Tyson Woods, with 8 years, has not fought professionally since 2005, but says he's ready to knock Paul out. The fight will consist of 8 2-minute round, and both fighters will wear gloves, of course, in this one. Definitely, of course, they will wear gloves, and we'll see how this one, of course, will pan out at the end of the day. But let's bring you the latest coming from tennis this morning, as Jannik Sinner beat Francis Tiafoe in straight sets in the Cincinnati Open final, as the world #1 found his best form ahead of the US Open at the final Grand Slam of the year. Sinner started the season by securing his first Slam title at the Australian Open, but has struggled with a hip injury over the last few months and missed the Paris Olympics with tonsillitis. The 23-year-old was seen in limping at stages during a firstly fought opening set that went to the Italian's way before he ultimately ran away with the match, winning 7-6, 6-2 in that particular encounter. Jannik Sinner, of course, adding another title, of course, to his title cabinet. This has been an impressive season for so far, despite the few lapses we've seen for Jannik Sinner. You know, one thing is about consistency. We saw what happened in the Wimbledon Open as well as the French Open. Wasn't really, you know, at his best. What do you make of him? You know, not seeing that 100% level of, you know, consistency in him, but he's still, you know, trying as much as he can to at least maintain his #1 status. 1,000 points at stake, you know, for this Cincinnati Open.
Yeah, Jannik Sinner, he's one of those tennis players, especially in the ATP, one of those young gen that I always look forward to watching. He's still young, 23, and he's a promising tennis player. When you see him serve, you know that he still has a long way to go, but coming up to the ATP and dominating at this young age, world #1 at this point, and with another title to his name, I think it's a good one for him. We know that in the last few months he struggled with some few injuries that actually made him not to participate in the Olympic event that just concluded. But I still see him doing so well for himself in the future, as well as doing so well in the current US Open that is about to come, the last Grand Slam of the year. I still tip him maybe to go far to the semi-final stages or even the final in the US Open. We've seen that Jannik Sinner, as well as young promising stars like the likes of Carlos Alcaraz, the likes of Casper Ruud as well, they've been dominating the ATP in the current time. So I feel like Jannik Sinner still has a long way to go in tennis, but I tip him to do great things in the future.
Let's see how it goes, of course, for Jannik Sinner. But how consistent do you think the man will be? Do you see him maintaining that high level of consistency we used to see from the likes of Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal? Because I want to take a look at the next generation. If you look at it, the era of Djokovic is gradually fading out. That of Rafael Nadal, of course, has faded out as well. Roger Federer, he has even retired. So we're looking for the next generation of tennis players that could hold it down. And one of them, of course, is Jannik Sinner we just talked about. Carlos Alcaraz is in that mix. I think two of them has been going toe-to-toe at this time around. How consistent do you think Jannik Sinner and Alcaraz will be going forward? Do you see them putting up that same legacy we've seen from the likes of Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Roger Federer?
Yeah, I feel like if he avoids getting injured and sticks to his game plan and don't forget that sometimes it's not just about you as a player, but also your coaching staff and your coaching crew still have a lot of work to do behind the scenes, and teaching you and encouraging you and showing you some tricks and how to go on as a tennis star, and the kind of lifestyles also to live, the kind of training and the kind of nutrition you gain or to take as a tennis player. So I feel like Jannik Sinner still has a long way to go, but for now I still tip him to do good things. Consistency is something that he's been showing over the years, but sometimes injury can also hamper that. So I feel like Jannik Sinner, for now, I feel like he can become consistent if he continues like this, because winning titles like this, Masters and the likes of winning some Grand Slam, can actually give you confidence in doing great things also. So I feel like Jannik Sinner has a long way to go, and I feel like he's going to do a lot in future.
Let's see how it goes. We hope that Jannik Sinner, of course, gets it right going forward. But still talking about tennis this morning, Aryna Sabalenka won her first victory since January Australian Open, defeating Jessica Pegula in the Cincinnati Open final. The Belarusian required 76 minutes to win 6-3, 7-5, her 15th championship overall, and 6th at the WTA 1000 level. The loss interrupted American Pegula's 9-match winning streak, which began last week when she defended her Canadian Open Championship. The 26-year-old who defeated world number 1 Iggy Swiatek in the semi-final will compete in the U.S. Open, which begins on the 26th of August. As it is, what do you make of it? An interesting tournament, you see, for Arina Sabalenka, taking out world number 1 Iggy Swiatek in the semi-final, down to winning Jessica Pegula in the final to lift the title.
Yeah.
Since he won the Australian Open, she has never won any title up to the Cincinnati Open.
Yes, but she's shown proudness when it comes to playing female tennis over there. She's shown the kind of ability she has. Unfortunately for her, she's not been able to win any Grand Slams since the Australian Open. But she's been showing some glitches of good performances. And that's the same attribute she showed yesterday when she defeated Jessica Pegula, who was on a winning streak, 9-game winning streak. So I feel like it was not an easy one for her to get over Jessica Pegula, but the kind of tenacity she showed yesterday, it proved the kind of tennis player she is and she can become, even in the future. So Arina Sabalenka, the Belarusian, she's a very fantastic player. She's been dominating the WTA alongside Iga Swiatek for a while. She's been one of those tennis players that I've always loved watching. The kind of serve, the kind of breaks, tie breaks she makes. So I feel like she's a very good and fantastic player. She did a good one for herself yesterday by winning another title, and she'll be looking forward to participating in the US Open.
Let's see how it goes for Arina Sabalenka. We hope to see her in an impressive fashion this time at the US Open that will be coming up very, very soon. But still talking about the US Open, we heard that qualifiers, of course, are on as Great Britain Heather Waxing, Paul Job, and Sonil Katan made it through the first round of the qualifying for the US Open. Former British #1 Waxing moved past last year's junior Wimbledon champion Clara Ngno with a comfortable 6-1, 6-1 win at 69 minutes. Job, who is 193rd in the world, triumphing an all-British encounter, beating Jacob Friendly 6-1, 7-6, despite being ranked 33 places lower than his compatriots. Ketel, who reached the third round at the Wimbledon this year before falling to second, Seed Kohugov won 6-3, 6-3 against Spain Goma Mestano. There was disappointment, however, for Leon Brody, who fell to a 7-5, 7-6 defeat by Finland Otto Virtanen. Brody, with 30 years, missed the start of the grass court season after suffering a concussion from hitting his head on the boot or for his car. Billy Harris, Jan Chidnowski, Oliver Crawford, Fern Jones, and Lee Miyazaki will play their first-round qualifiers today. The main draw at Flushing Meadows starts on the 26th of August. So preparation for the US Open is on already. Players already participating in their qualifying games, and of course we'll see how this one of course will look like. But at this point we'll take a short break, or we'll come back from this break or bring up the latest revolving around the beautiful world of football. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and of course we'll bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. And we start with football this moment as Nigerian National League outfits Baru FC yesterday unveiled former Super Eagles assistant coach Salisu Yusuf as their new head coach of the incoming season. Yusuf is said to have penned a one-year contract with the club owned by Nigeria's Deputy Senate President Jibrin Baru. The 62-year-old has been tasked with the responsibility of guiding the club to the Nigerian Premier Football League, which is the MPFL. The former international is one of the most experienced coaches in the domestic scene in Nigeria, having previously worked with Nasarawa United, Kano Pillars, Eyimba, and Economy Warriors. Salisu Yusuf coaching an NNL side. You think this is a good move for him?
Personally, for me, I feel like it's a downgrade for a coach like Salisu Yusuf, because we know the kind of experience he has gathered coaching in the MPFL, coaching the likes of Nasarawa United, Kano Pillars, as well as Eyimba. He's a coach that is renowned for coaching those big boys down there in the MPFL. And I feel like Coach Salisu Yusuf going to an NNL side is a downgrade. Maybe he would have waited. Maybe you never can tell. Maybe the Super Eagles would have scouted him to take over the job, because right now we don't have a permanent coach for the Super Eagles team. Or maybe he would have just waited for another MPFL team. But going down to coach an NNL team, which we know that is very, very difficult for NNL teams to get promoted to the MPFL. You need to be a fantastic, very fantastic coach.
Could money be the attractive factor?
No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say money could be the factor. Maybe him even getting that one-year contract could be as a result of not being in a job for the main time. Maybe he just wanted to take this job as maybe to render his services for 1 year and know how it goes from there. Maybe he will get scouted, or he will get a proper job from another MPFL team. But taking a job at not a well-renowned team, even down there at the NNL, I don't think is a good one for Coach Salisu Yusuf. But you never can tell. Maybe he might get that team promoted down to the MPFL, and a lot can still happen from there. So him getting that job, for me, is not a good one for him, because of the kind of status he's already kept in the MPFL, coaching big sides like Eyimba, Nasarawa United, as well as Kano Pillars.
Is the Nigerian leagues, getting attractive? Is it becoming lucrative? Because we're seeing coaches coming down to the MPFL, even the NNL we're talking about. Emmanuel Mulike is now the coach of Heartland FC, and the likes of Ladan Boso is coaching Bayelsa United. Imama Mapakabo is back with Abia Warriors this time. We have Fidelis Lechuko, finished the job with Rivers United. So we're seeing ex-internationals, coming to coach teams in the Nigerian Premier Football League, as well as the Nigerian National League. You think our league is becoming lucrative, it's becoming more attractive? That's why these coaches are coming in.
Yes, definitely. I would say that in the last 2 seasons, the last 2 years, the league has actually shown some level of growth down there. The MPFL board has done a lot for the league to grow and get promoted. This is what a lot of fans have been clamoring for. Our ex-internationals coming down to handle teams down there in the MPFL. And it's a good one for the league, it's a good one for the managers as well as the teams. So I feel like right now our league is growing. Both the prize money has been increased from 150 to, I think, this 200 million this season. So it's a good one for the teams. If we continue like this, maybe our league will get the kind of promotion we've been clamoring for, and we never can tell. Maybe our MPFL team can start challenging when performing and representing the country in the continental competitions like the CAF Champions League as well as the CAF Confederations Cup.
Let's see how it goes. Still talk about Nigerian football. Plateau United have concluded plans to unveil their new players ahead of the 2024-25 Nigerian Premier Football League MPFL season. The unveiling ceremony was initially scheduled to take place earlier in the month, but was rescheduled due to the nationwide protest. It will be held today at the New Jos Stadium. Boas Mangood side has strengthened their squad following the failure of the team to secure continental tickets last season. They finished in 5th position in the MPFL. Now, Plateau United will kickstart the 2024 and 2025 campaign with a clash against Katsina United. And we'll see how that one, of course, will go down. But still talked about the MPFL, we hear Lobby Stars have completed the signing of 15 players ahead of the 2024 and 2025 Nigerian Premier Football League season. 15 players at a time, miracle. What do you make of this, kind of signing for Nigerian Premier Football League?
For me, this has been the problem of Nigerian teams over time. Teams like Lobby Stars coming out to sign 15 players in one window actually makes me to start questioning if these players really have professional contracts, because you can't tell me that you sign a huge sum of players as much as 15 players in one window with all of them having professional contracts. And we've seen how Nigerian teams have struggled to pay players in the past. So Lobby Stars coming out to sign players as much as 15 players makes me to begin to wonder if those players really have professional contracts, because for you to sign this amount of players, you need to let some players go as well. They haven't come out to tell us how many players they let go. So adding 15 players to your current squad might actually give you a huge sum of players, or a huge amount of players in the dressing room, and it might actually begin to cause a lot of issues when it comes to financial issues on how to pay those players, on how to even a lot of things can go with signing 15 players in one window. So I'm still waiting for the Lobby Stars chairman or the Lobby Stars team coach to give us an insight on these players. They haven't given us the list of the players they signed. They only told us that they've signed as much as 15 players. So till then we will really know if the signings of these players was really contracted.
Let's say, did we hear all the players recruited are currently preparing with the team for the new season in Jos? The new season will kick-start on the 31st of August 2024, and we'll see how that one, of course, will go down. But what do you make of the season? Well, August is here already. 31st, of course, we'll soon get to 31st of August. What do you make of it? Preparations, preparation-wise, from the league board, the teams as well. What do you make of it? We hear week 1 fixture is out, and we're looking forward to see week 2 and the rest of them. What do you make of the clubs? How prepared are they, especially the defending champion, Enugu Rangers? You talk about Eyimba Football Club, Remo Stars, and the league board. Are they really prepared? Just like you mentioned earlier, they've increased the prize money to 200 million. And we understand that they've also secured some sponsorship deals. The league, of course, has been on TV since last season, and there have been online streaming platforms as well. At this time, what do you make of the preparation for the board as well as the teams in the Nigerian Premier Football League?
Yeah, for me, I think for now, I will give them a 60%, not 100%. Because they still have to do more when it comes to promotion of the league. Okay. The league is starting on the 31st, but I can tell you that a lot of fans out here in Nigeria don't really know that the league will begin at the 31st. We saw how the Premier League, a lot of fans have been anticipating the resumption of the Premier League. But for now, our league does not have that kind of, our league does not have that kind of anticipation, because a lot of fans right now cannot really tell you when the league will begin, except maybe me and you that have been looking deeper into the league, resumption of the league. But they need to do a lot when it comes to preparation. They need to do a lot when it comes to promotion as well. Teams that are participating in the continent for now are the ones that I feel that are much more ready for the resumption of the league, because they've been active in recent times playing football. So the likes of the other teams that have not been participating on the continent, and I don't know if they've been involved in some 1 or 2 preseason games as well as they are supposed to. But it's a good one for the league beginning on the 31st.
All right, let's see how it goes. We look forward to the resumption of the Nigerian Premier Football League in the coming days. Away from that, Flamingos head coach Bankole Oluwakiri has invited 35 players to the camp of Nigeria's under-17 girls as the team commences the first phase of the final preparation for the 8th FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup Finals to be staged in the Dominican Republic later this year. The Nigerian girls notched an you inspiring total of 25 goals in 6 matches in the qualifying race, returning to Central African Republic by 6 goals in each leg. Dismissing Burkina Faso 7 goals to 1 over aggregate at the third round, and turning back Liberia 6 goals to 1 in aggregate in the final round. Extraordinary poacher Howard Chidi, who set a jaw-dropping record of 13 goals in the qualifying series, topped the list of invitees alongside her strike partner Peace Effiong, with team captain Taiwo Afolabi, goalkeeper Christiana Uzoma, and the defender Priska Nwachukwu also prominent. This year's Under-17 Women's World Cup finals will be staged in the cities of Santiago de los Caballeros and Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic on October 16 to November 3rd. So we'll see what the Under-17 girls, of course, will do after having an impressive outing in the qualifying stage. Miracle.
Yeah, the Under-17 girls, it's a good one for them, it's a good one for the coach, it's a good one for Nigeria as well. The Under-17 Women's World Cup is just by the corner, and we know that the girls have been playing fantastic football from the qualifiers, thrashing a lot of teams and scoring as much as 25 goals during the qualifiers. I feel it's a good one for them. The country will be looking forward to this one.
Let's say it goes away from that. We hear that the Falconets are also getting prepared because it was a very colorful traditional. We saw colorful traditional dancers, flag waving enthusiasts, and members of the local organizing committee of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Colombia 2024 were among the excited crowd that welcomed two-time silver medalist Nigeria to the Colombian capital Bogotá over the weekend. Exhausted but fascinated by the pomp and pageantry, the Falconets, who landed at the El Dorado International Airport after a 13-hour flight from Istanbul in Turkey, lapped up the reception and showed appreciation to the monthly crowd. The Falconets' final phase of preparation for the 23-day championship will include tough tests against Australia and Mexico. They go up against the Australians on Friday 23rd against August, and then confront the Mexicans 3 days later. The girls from Mexico will be featuring in the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup for the 10th time, having missed one previous championship, while Nigeria is one of only 4 countries, the others being USA, Brazil, and Germany, to have played in every final tournament since the competition was launched as an Under-19 event in Canada in 2002. But the competition having only this year being upgraded to a 24-day finals, nearly half of the finalists are debutants, and these are Austria, Chile, China, Denmark, Fiji, Haiti, Papua New Guinea, and Poland, Thailand, Cameroon, and Morocco. Now, FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Colombia 24. Talking about the group, in Group A we have Colombia, Australia, Cameroon, and Mexico. In Group B we have France, Canada, Brazil, and Fiji. In Group C we have Spain, USA, Paraguay, and Morocco. Group D have Germany, Venezuela, Nigeria, and Korea Republic. And Group E have Japan, New Zealand, Canada, Austria as well. In Group F we have Korea, Argentina, Costa Rica, and the Netherlands. And we'll see what, of course, the girls will be able to do in this one. But away from that, let's take a look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria. As the Nigeria Football Federation, the NFF, is looking to bring in the local coach on an interim basis for the Super Eagles. The coach will take charge of the national team for the next 2025 AFCON qualifiers in September, and the Eagles have been without a substantive coach since Finidi George stepped down from the role. The question is, who will be this local coach if they are looking forward to getting a local coach for the Super Eagles?
Yeah, that has been the big question. A lot of fans and a lot of people have been asking, who will be the local coach to take over, to step in and be an interim manager for the meantime to handle the Super Eagles, because we have a lot of qualifiers coming up. We have the AFCON qualifiers as well as the World Cup qualifiers. So I feel like a lot of names have been in place. The likes of what's his name now? The one that was banned, Samson Siasia. That just exhausted. His ban just came to an end. So Samson Siasia has been called. A lot of home coaches have been called as well. but I don't really know if a lot of them right now can be are competent enough to handle the Super Eagles, because we saw what the likes of Coach Jose Peseiro was able to achieve with the Super Eagles, taking them to the AFCON finals. Unfortunately for him, he could not win it. But in the past, we know that some local coaches, the likes of Stephen Keshi, have impressed and done a lot for the Super Eagles. So bringing in a local coach right now can actually be the remedy. You never can tell, because these homegrown coaches actually know how things are being done right here in Nigeria. And a lot of fans also can depend on them to bring out the best from our players, although majority of our players are foreign-based. So I feel like a local coach should be the remedy for now, since the NFF can't employ or give a foreigner the job because of the kind of money that comes with employing a foreigner at the time right now, because we don't have that kind of funds to spend. So I feel like a local coach should be employed as soon as possible, because the qualifiers are just by the corner.
All right, let's see how it goes. The Nigerian Football Federation looking forward to employing a local manager, of course, to be the interim coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's see how that one, of course, will pan out. But we'll take a trip now to Europe. We saw Monday Night Football yesterday. Jamie Vardy scored on his return to the Premier League as promoted Leicester City drew with Tottenham at King Power Stadium. Vardy, who is 37 years, scored the host's first shot on goal and nodding in Adu Fatawa's cross from close range just before the hour mark. The goal cancelled out Pedro Perez's first half opener for Spurs, who had been completely dominant in the first 45 minutes and should have been well ahead before Vardy scored. What do you make of it? Jamie Vardy returning to the Premier League in an impressive fashion.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy, he just keeps showing us how important he is for this Leicester City team. This guy has been a legend for the club, winning some trophies, the likes of the Premier League, FA Cup, as well as the Community Shield. And he also did fantastic for Leicester City in making them to gain that promotion back to the Premier League, racking in the goals for them in the Championship last season. Jamie Vardy, 37 years old, he's not as young as he used to be, but we still see him running and providing those good contribution for this Leicester City team. He's that kind of player that the team can depend on. So he's a good one for the team, as well as Jamie Vardy himself. I still see him doing so much for Leicester City, in making sure that they don't get relegated back to the Championship this season. I will still have Tottenham to blame for how they played yesterday, because in the first half of that game they were completely dominant. They had all the chances to even make that lead, a 2-goal lead or even more. But unfortunately for them, they couldn't take their chances. And Leicester City, because of the 1-goal deficit, were still in the game. And the second half, they came out stronger. And they got the equalizer and they sat back and they defended very well. So I feel like Jamie Vardy and the Leicester City team, they did well for themselves and returning back to the Premier League last.
I think for me, it was a very impressive outing for them, coming back from the Championship and holding it against a very tough side, in the Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur, they are very good, anytime, any day. But this was not the way they started last season under Postecoglou.
Yeah.
They had an impressive start last season, not until they started, dropping in terms of performance. But what do you make of the start for Tottenham Hotspur, starting with a draw this time? Is this a good omen for them heading down this season?
I wouldn't say it's a good one for them, because last night they actually dominated the game. So they deserved the 3 points, but unfortunately for them, it was not meant to be. We saw how they started last season. In the first 10 games of the season, they were actually unbeaten.
Yeah.
Before they had to lose the game they played against, I think, Chelsea, which they were actually red-carded twice for them to lose that game 4-1. And after that loss, they went down the panel. And this season, they're actually starting off with a draw. And we saw that the kind of preseason they had a fantastic run of games during the preseason as well. So Postecoglou still have a lot to show. The team has a lot to do when it comes to winning games in the Premier League, because this season a lot of teams are going to be really tough and dogged this season. The likes of Arsenal is still in the picture, Liverpool as well with a new coach, Manchester United reinforcing with the Ineos group. Chelsea as well, with a new coach. Manchester City, we know how dominant they've been over the course of the years. 4 straight EPL titles. So Tottenham Hotspur still has a lot to do. So I will encourage them. They should get that draw behind them and look forward to the next game.
All right, away from that encounter, Diego Simeone Atletico Madrid began their La Liga campaign with an entertaining 2-2 draw against Villarreal yesterday. The Rojiblancos, who revamped their squad over the summer after finishing 4th last season, had to settle for a point at Villarreal's Estadio de la Ceramica twice, coming from behind in that encounter. But away from that, we hear Germany captain Nico Gundogan has announced his retirement from international football after leading his country at Euro 2024. Gundogan, who turns 34 in October, escaped the Germany team that reached the Euro 2024 quarterfinals before losing to eventual champion Spain after extra time. Gundogan made his debut for Germany against Belgium in October 2011, but missed the 2024 World Cup triumph with a back injury. He was also ruled out of Euro 2016 due to a dislocated kneecap. He became the first German footballer of Turkish descent to captain the national team and appeared at 4 major tournaments. He was also an unused squad member at Euro 2012. And away from that, let's bring you all that story coming from football, as well as Swiss international goalkeeper Jan Sommer has announced his retirement from the national team with which he began his career in 2012. His retirement announcement signals the end of a distinguished football career defined by exceptional performances and unwavering dedication, known for his sharp reflexes, commanding presence, and leadership on the pitch. Sommer has been a pivotal figure for both his national team and club sides. Sommer, who is 35 years, retires as the most goalkeeper in Swiss national team history, and will henceforward will focus on his club, Inter Milan, according to ASF down there. And another man, of course, to talk about this morning is Luka Modric. He has been named in Croatia's 24-man squad for the opening matches of the UEFA Nations League campaign. Real Madrid captain Modric, who turns 39 in September, has made 178 appearances for his country, having made his debut at the age of 20 in 2006. Luka Modric, miracle, not looking as if he wants to throw in the towel or probably retire anytime soon.
Yeah, it's always good when you have your coach and your manager have trust in you. The Croatian boss, Zlatko Dalic, have always shown that trust and encouragement when it comes to calling Luka Modric to the national team. And Luka Modric is a leader, he's the team's captain, and we know the kind of performances Luka Modric can give on his day. Although these days he isn't starting for the Real Madrid side, he comes on from the bench. But when it comes to the Croatian team, Luka Modric is always a dependable force when it comes to playing for his country and representing his country badge. So it's a good one for him being called up for the team's Nations League encounter in the recent days or recent weeks. It's a good one for the Croatian national team, still having Luka Modric run in the middle of the park for them.
Let's take a look at transfers this morning, as Chelsea have reached an agreement with Atletico Madrid for the permanent signing of Portugal forward João Felix. The Blues agreed a fee in principle for Felix, who enjoyed 6 months on loan during the 2022 and 2023 season and scored 4 goals in 20 appearances for Chelsea in 2023 to return to Stamford Bridge. João Felix, miracle, coming back to Chelsea on permanent basis.
Yeah, João Felix, is that the man Chelsea really need at this time? I don't think so, but for them to be able to have that transaction done, that domino done between Conor Gallagher going the other way and João Felix coming this way, that day has to be struck. They needed to offload in the likes of Conor Gallagher, so for that deal to be done, João Felix needed to come the other way. But a lot of Chelsea fans would really be beating their chest if they really don't get the out-and-out striker they really want right now. And João Felix is not really what Chelsea need. Chelsea had the likes of Christopher Nkunku as well as Nicola Jackson.